Again, here it is trying to add to this part. So I'm just going to line this up. Again, it's going from this isometric type of perspective. So if I start with a rectangular shape and just kind of lay that in there, okay, angle's going that way, but I'm going to find the peak of this. So to find the center, you just cross the diagonal of this rectangle, even though it's not a rectangle. Just extend this up, and I'm going to pick up the top of this and then just extend these across. And since it's just using the idea of parallel lines here, this line is just going to find the edge to this one. So when I find the distance, the length of it, just going to go ahead and draw that piece in there. It has a little bit of a overhang, so I'm just going to extend it and give that line over there and bring this back, and you can see that it kind of picks up that edge. And this side, just going on the opposite end, will give you that section to it. Just kind of curving it like so. And that's the red, the hotel part. The other part's the green one. I can do the same thing. I can find the center of this just by crossing diagonals if it helps me locate this piece. There's the peak of the roof, so these lines still going with this one. Okay, finding the angle, and same line. This line is parallel to this one, so I'm just going to add to it, give it the thickness of it. This side, can't really see the other side, but it's extended. And that's where that goes. So now I just have to locate the intersection here and just extend this out a bit. And that builds that part up. So now I have that initial part. Second piece is the chimney for this, so I can do the same thing. Any one of these shapes, I can help find the center just by crossing the diagonal, extending it up. Here's the center for this one. I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see it. Okay, so now I'm just putting an ellipse, and the ellipse is going to be a vertical elliptical shape. Coming down, it's going to wrap around this piece, curving it down like so. So that's that one. And the same idea is held true down here at this, on the green one. You can find the center of that. There's the center of it. And just create the elliptical shape, vertically come down. As the peak of the roof goes up and round to it, you can see the other side of that ellipse in there. Not too difficult, places it right in there for you. And again, once you get it set up, then you can still like to use the straight edge just to help keep it a simple shaded section there. So with that, I'm just going to kind of heavy this up. You have a couple different tones, but you can choose any one of these illustrations here. So just kind of finding the outline for it. Pasting it in like so. So I'm just kind of heavying up some of the outlines before I start to shade it. Kind of makes it pretty easy. And it sets it up pretty accurately. Okay. And again, this part shows a little bit like the overhang of an actual faceboard of a house. Right like that. So I've kind of exaggerated the outline. So once I have that piece, I can go ahead and shade this in pretty easily. Okay. Again, I'm just going to use the straight edge and the lines going with the form. This is just an HB lead. And at this point, if it goes over the lines on the inside, doesn't matter too much. I can always highlight that as it goes through. This is kind of a translucent plastic, so I'm going to try to make it a little more opaque just for the drawing to start off, and then I can go back and highlight it a little bit. So there's like a highlight on the edge there. This gives you a quick way to shade it. Okay, like I said, just the straight edge gives me that part. And you can heavy up as the tone, so I can go heavy here and just let it fade away into that edge. I'll leave a little bit of a highlight up here and down here too. But again, it's a quick way to sketch. I could do it freehand too, either way you want to try it. There's a little bit of a shadow down here, let it fade off. Kind of black, put it in there. Going vertical on the chimney section here, and that's pretty much the segment. Okay, and now just taking this again, going back in and finding the planes and just really heavying up some of the values. So here I'm just going real dark, letting it get light, getting it dark underneath where it's resting. And once I get that, I can go back in and go the opposite way. So the geometric part just makes it a little bit easier. There's kind of a reflection in there. So kind of look at, see which one's going to be the value to it. Here's the edge. Blend that up like so. And again. So I'm just kind of gradating it, going dark to light as it gets down here, finding that edge. Doing this one too. Let's move this up here like so. Shade that in there just a little bit. So I can keep the triangle there and just kind of work from this angle. Find that edge again. And remember, sometimes you do all lines. In this case with the shading, you're kind of blending the lines in with the edges of the shapes. And build it up. Finding these. So I'm kind of exaggerating it, finding these pieces here, building it up, dark to light. And you kind of, even though it's translucent, you have the color choice, color change on this. You want to still be able to see that edge there. Hey. So it just has this side that you can see. So what I was trying to say was that when this blends in, I've lost the actual outline from the beginning. And now I'm just kind of looking at the tone. There is a little reflection inside this part, so I'm just going to extend kind of the shading in there just to show the reflection inside there. Gives a little bit of a highlight to it. And build that part up. Now again, if I've shaded this and I've gone too far, I can always bring back the highlight just by taking an eraser and going right along this edge. Okay, I can always put a straight edge as well and do that. It smears it, and if I use an eraser that's on a pencil, they work pretty good, but sometimes they get smudged, a little older, and it kind of helps with the drawing, but I can also draw with it. So I'm just kind of showing that piece in there. And that brings that part up. Then I can just clean up any parts of the drawing on the outside edge here. Just kind of basically go over it like so. And that's what you end up with, kind of. And I've been able to kind of start on the top, keep them all together in the composition too.